Greetings and welcome to Sunlight Refuge, where the name of the game is motivation, inspiration, and growth. Hi everyone, my name is Tracey, and if you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Financial planning, right? Having a plan is not only essential for your own life, but also for the lives that came before you and the ones who will come after you. So ask yourself, are you part of the group of people who avoids financial planning? And if that's you, it's okay because today we are breaking the silence, diving into why families avoid these conversations: money, financial planning, life after you've transitioned, right? And more importantly, why is it urgent that we normalize these conversations, right? So stay tuned. Do me a solid, like, share, and subscribe. Grab your journal and let's take the first step towards building a legacy of strength, wisdom, and stewardship, right? So here's the thing, the stats, right? People can say whatever they want to say, right? But the proof is in the data, right? So, with that said, 67% of Americans don't have an estate planned at all. And amongst them, ages 35 to 54 don't have a will, right? And that goes into the generational wealth loss. 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation, and 90% lose it by the third generation, right? So you put all that hard work into creating your business, but you don't have the continuality of keeping it going, and then it gets lost. It's not even making it to the third generation, right? So the business succession failures, only 30% of family businesses survive into the second generation. And the literacy gaps, um, the information is not being passed down to the youth, y'all. It's not being passed down to the youth, and it's hurting the families. Okay? So when you think about financial planning, you may think that avoiding these conversations keep the peace, but the numbers tells us what? That the silence is causing the chaos. The silence is causing us not to be able to pass down from generation to generation. That's how you build your generational wealth, right? So we are going to get into the why first and foremost, right? Because we want to understand, why are we doing this? Why is this not a conversation that we are having with our families, with our friends, with our partners, with, you know what I'm saying? Why aren't we talking about this? It's not something that you're going to get from the school system. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that you're going to get in your average conversations. We have to start normalizing this so we can spread that and have these amongst multiple groups of people, right? So why is it that people are avoiding these conversations? And it's discomfort. Like, it's so simple. It's discomfort, and it's also fear, right? Because when it comes to death and money, these are like charged topics, right? They pull out so many emotions and fears and anxiety and things of that nature that many people just avoid them to escape that feeling, right? And they don't like conflict and things of that nature. So it starts off with like avoiding it. Like, I just don't even want to deal with that, because every time I think about this, I don't want to think about death. You know what I'm saying? Like, death is part of life. If you're here, you're going to die. You're going to transition, right? And so it's not anything, it's a natural, it's the circle of life. It's not anything to be afraid of. But we got to put things in place to where all of our hard work, all of our ancestors' hard work continues on. So our children and our family can have a foundation that helps them to not only not survive but to thrive, right? We don't want to be caught up in the survival of it all. We want to come here and we want to be able to make our impact, and we want to thrive within that, right? So another reason why family avoid these discussions is simply because of the generational and the culture itself. And I learned that the leading three countries that avoid this, which was a surprise to me, was Japan, Germany, and South Korea. And that's simply because they think that it's either bad luck or that is impolite. You know what I'm saying? It's not beneficial. Um, but the biggest thing too, y'all, is just a lack of financial literacy. I didn't realize how much I was lacking until I learned how much I needed to know, right? And I'm just so grateful that I was able to get the information. And I always tell my children, like, y'all are doing better than me because I got this in my adulthood. Like, sure, I knew how to save and I knew how to da 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 da. I knew these things. But when it came to like building wealth and passing down and ownership and things of that nature, like, I try to give that to my children as much as I can and make these conversations normal so they don't look at it like I'm just here and I'm gonna, go to school and I'm gonna get a job, and you know what I'm saying? But no, you gotta own some things, right? You gotta shift the mindset. Um, and so another one too is like we gotta quit it with the power struggles. You know what I'm saying? And talking about inheritance or control of the assets, right? All the things that you have acquired thus far. It puts people into like rivalries and things of that nature, like, and favoritism. Oh, you like them more than me, and blah 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 blah, and all. Like, we gotta. That's because there's no structure in it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if if you can create the foundation and the way to go, then everybody will be trained in that. And that's why I feel like, look at your children, look at yourself, look at your partner. What are they good at? What are they not good at? How can you help? You got 5 fingers, right? This one do this, 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 right? So we're not all just everybody doing this and nobody's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody will know where, they fall in place. So you can avoid all of that, you know, risky behavior pretty much. And then it's like the procrastination and the denial. Like, y'all, it's in human nature to delay uncomfortable conversations and tasks and interactions and things. I have done this in my own life. When I just don't feel like dealing with people because I already know what that's gonna come with, I'll be like, never mind. You know what I'm saying? And I will avoid it just because I don't feel like dealing with y'all. I don't feel like dealing with that right now. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to this, if you can make this normal, that's what we have to do. We have to start making this a normal conversation. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing wrong with this. It's better to be prepared for it because it's gonna happen anyway. So what's the point of you don't want to talk about it, your family's scared to talk about it, don't nobody want to ruffle any feathers and all that kind of stuff, then you pass away, and then, you know what I'm saying? And even on a lower form of that too, it's like you got to get educated for yourself, and you got to get things in place because you can drop dead. Let's say you pass away, you got to at least have $10,000 to get yourself squared away. Then what you gonna do? Put that on your family? Put that on the state? You see what I'm saying? So we all got a responsibility, and we got to quit running from this. Ain't nothing to run from. don't run away from things that are new. You know what I'm saying? And don't run away from creating something that can be beneficial for you and your family. You got to run towards that. It's uncomfortable, sure. All right, cool. But at least you know where you are. You at least you know what you got in your people. You know what I'm saying? At least you can, you know what I mean? But if we start this with our children and we start this young, it becomes natural. So now they're not like, oh, I want to be, your typical doctor, lawyer, firefighter. Now they like, I want to own my own bookstore. I want to own my own cafe. I want to be an author. You know what I'm saying? I want to do these things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once we start instilling that in them, then we can change the narrative on how we navigate that. And then that way, our people won't have to worry about being replaceable. You know what I'm saying? When you have your own businesses and things of that nature, you make yourself more of an asset, and you make yourself less replaceable. You become more irreplaceable. You know what I'm saying? Because when you building other people's stuff, they looking out for them. But when you building your family, you looking out for your family. You know what I mean? So that's really, really important. So why? So why is it important that we normalize financial planning? It's simply to avoid the crisis, right? So without clear plans, family often fall into chaos, and this is mine and my dad and dividend and like, we ain't got time for all of that. You know what I'm saying? And then financial issues come about, and then let's just say your mom or your dad or whoever, you know what I'm saying, had bills, and then if you don't have that taken care of now, you know what I'm saying, I ain't paying that, or why I gotta pay everything, or you supposed to pay some of this and you supposed to do that, and this is mine. And like, no, we don't want to be in that. Because when our ancestors, well, not our ancestors, excuse me, but when our elders start to get into that place where they're ready to go to their final resting place, we want that to be peaceful, not only for them, but for the family. You know what I'm saying? You want them to be able to kick back and just reflect on life and prepare themselves. Like, we don't have time for all of this arguing and bickering and, you know what I'm saying, creating all this chaos and stuff. um and then think about the empowerment, right? So when you equip the next generation with the tools for success, operating with transparency builds the trust and preparedness, right? So quit trying to gatekeep stuff. Quit trying to act like can't nobody do it but you. Quit trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, spread that. Because the more you spread and the more they learn, the more safe your business and all of your assets become, right? So teach them. I try to teach my children everything I know. You know what I'm saying? And I try to encourage them, and we learn together. You know what I'm saying? And even my mom, she's learning and she's growing, and she giving that wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like taking out all kind of notes, like, because this wasn't conversations that we had. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the era where it was like, you don't get no credit cards. Credit cards, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the money, don't get no credit cards. It's not gonna do nothing. It's just gonna put you in debt. And da, da, da. We just didn't have the understanding. But once I got the understanding, no, credit cards are cool. You just got to know how to use them. You know what I'm saying? And it helps build on your adult report card, right? And a legacy of stewardship. I wrote this down. The more you have, the more you can give back, right? So proactive management allows you and your family to align wealth and businesses with your values and your faith, and then you can spread that to other people. You know what I'm saying? I always end up like really enjoying like movies, or things that I'm watching or something to that effect, where they have their own business, and it's like the little lost child, or the one who's been struggling and don't nobody want to give them a chance and things of that nature, and then they form this bond, and the next thing they helping stocking in the back, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. But when you operating under somebody else's business, that it don't go like that. Either you meet these qualifications or you can't work here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's how you pay it forward. And please do not get a business start to earn and just become a bigger consumer. That's not what the money's for. That's why you got to plan. You got to know what you're going to do with your profits. You know what I'm saying? People, they do their businesses and they get it, and then as soon as they get the money, you don't want to put back into and grow and scale. You want to take that money, go buy you a bag. You want to take that money, go on vacation. You want to take that money and just buy, quit. You got to get out of this consumption, you know what I'm saying, mindset. And I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just a time for things. You know what I'm saying? And when you building a business and you trying to help your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it's about. It's not about all this buying stuff. It's not about all of this lavish stuff. Like, it's not like I like luxury per se, but I just like updated, clean, you know what I'm saying? I just like to be in that type of environment. I like to know that you taking care of your stuff, because I take care of my stuff, meaning all the way from my material things to my children. You know what I'm saying? And I just like that, you know? So I'll spend on that, but I'm not like, you know what I'm saying, trying to get a $3,000 outfit. Like, for what? You know what I'm saying? And that's where the rule of 5 come in. If you want that $3,000 outfit, then you better have what, $15,000 saved. If you ain't got $15, you can't afford this $3,000. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta make sure that you are creating these good habits for yourself and for your family, right? Because one thing that I know is that with these children, they are watching. When I learned how much my children watch me, I really took on that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, they really like value me as a person, and they really like trust in my leadership, you know what I'm saying? And to guide them, you know? And I always felt like my children, they were given to me by God, you know what I'm saying? So I have a divine responsibility first to the Most High to take care of these children in my family. So I don't play about that at all, you know what I'm saying? So just, you got to just make sure that you are setting good habits and learning. You got to always be learning, right? So how are you going to do it? Okay, let's talk about it, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break the silence, right? First and foremost, we are going to break the silence, and we're going to stop avoiding these money discussions and life after you transition and your legacy. Why are we going to avoid this? Instead, we're going to take on the responsibility of normalizing it. Conversations, just talk. Hey, let me ask you. Hey, what you think? Hey, this is what I learned. Hey, it starts with hey. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I was just thinking. What you think about that? You know what I'm saying? And then just kind of build on that, right? Because we have to shift the paradigm, which means teaching the children and our young adults that the goal isn't just to get a good job, but it's about ownership and investment and impact. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to do that by breaking the wage labor trap and building a family brand. Like, what's your family's brand? You ever thought about that? I keep telling y'all, we're a walking economy. You know what I'm saying? We just got to learn how to, you know, make it practical and make it like a real live thing that we're doing and profiting off of. Because that wasn't always taught to us. You know what I'm saying? So, but now we got so many avenues for us to learn. You know what I'm saying? You can do the books, you can do the workshops, you can do the internet. You got all kind of, you got YouTube, you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got TikTok. I mean, I know it's a little taboo right now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we got AI, we got, you know what I'm saying? Like, get in there. Quit it with all of these downloading apps that don't benefit you. You got to put yourself in that scenario. Like, does this benefit me or no? And keep it simple. Does this benefit me or not? Does this excel me or not? Does this help me or not? You know what I'm saying? Just make it simple. And you got your answer now. If you go against that, then hey, that's all on you. But as we say, it's all on you, volume two, bro. You know what I'm saying? But so and just create the practical steps, right? You can create like an outline of like basic steps for a succession plan. And it starts with, how do you create a basic succession plan? Boom. You get flooded with information. It's that simple. And you take what you know what I'm saying, and you build on that. It's just that simple, y'all. And then you got to learn about these things. So when we talk about a succession plan, think about wills and trusts. Wills and trusts. Do you know the difference between a will and a trust? You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing for me is like, one, you got to go through probate, and the other one you can avoid it, and it's less public. It's more private. But when you need to get a will and when you need to get a trust. Starts with that. What is a trust? What is a will? Who needs a trust? Who needs a will? Boom, there you go. 50-cent notebook from Walmart. Boom, there you go. You on your path. And then you say, hey y'all, guess what? Y'all know about wills and trusts? Are you fluent in wills and trusts? Well, let me tell you what I learned. Normalizing it. You know what I'm saying? And then whole life insurance. Whole life insurance. Like whole life insurance versus term life insurance. Do you know the difference? What is the difference between whole life insurance and term insurance? When would I need whole life insurance and when would I need term life insurance? That easy. You can on your phone. What is, y'all fast, what is term life insurance? What is whole life insurance? That's simple, right? And then you can look into your business continuality, or actually your business continuity plan, y'all, business continuity plans, so you don't lose your business after one generation. We're losing our business 1 and 2 generations. What was it, up to 90%? We don't want that. So we gotta, when I phase out, when I say I'm finna retire, finna drink my lemonade on the porch, listening to the rain, playing chess, right? Then the next is they're gonna continue it on. And I just come in there and just look. Like, good job. Hey, good job. You know what I'm saying? And then there you go. So so all of your hard work, because it takes a lot of hard work, and don't nobody want all of that to just be gone like that. Just because you wanted to avoid talking about it. Just because you don't, you know what I'm saying, you feel like you're being replaced. My mama was 40 one time. I was 10 one time. We grow up. That's part of life. Ain't no point of me trying to compete with no 15-year-old. Like, what are you talking about? You supposed to be beating me. You know what I'm saying? Not to say I ain't, you know what I'm saying, I'm still I'm just saying, so get off all of that stuff. And that's why teaching financial literacy early is such a big key, because developing these good money habits now so they don't get caught up later. They want us to be consumers. You buying helps them build. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we're not gonna, that ends. The buck stops here. Right? And then knowing the roles and responsibilities within a family business, because once you define them, it just ensures the clarity and smooth operation. So everybody know what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody know what they're supposed to be doing. You cut down all the chaos. You cut down all the imbalance when you properly delegate these things that needs to be assigned, all these responsibilities that need to be assigned. And understand that you're not Superman, you're not Superwoman, you don't have to do it all by yourself. Once these children learn how to read, they can help you read. Yeah, give them a book, have them read, talk about it. That's how you normalize it. You know what I'm saying? So and then another big one too is taxes. Familiarize yourself with tax laws and how taxes work so you can keep majority of your profits. That's a big one for me. I'll be like, ooh, I don't, I got to get more fluent in taxes. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. You know what I'm saying? And so when you begin to like put these things into place, and when you begin to like talk about these on a normal basis, normalizing it, like it just becomes, this is what we do, this is what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what spreads. You want that to spread, because when you want to lead with your faith and your purpose, so like building generational wealth isn't just about material gain, but again, it goes back to that stewardship and honoring God by creating opportunities to give back. And we got to look at turning our last name into an asset. We are walking economies. Turn your last name into an asset, right? And so when you start operating under the idea of transforming your last name into a brand, but not only just a brand, but a brand of excellence and trustworthiness in your community, right? Start that now. I feel like I'm a walking brand. So when I'm out there in the world, first and foremost, I am a woman of God. Like I try to do that. Sometimes I fall short, you know what I'm saying? But that's my armor that I have to put on, because I have to represent God first. I'm the second self of God. I understand that. Then I got people who's watching me. I got to help them to build up these good values and things. So I take that responsibility heavy. And then it's part of like my reputation. So when we do step out of there, my reputation precedes me. You know what I'm saying? So look at it like that. So and learn about assets versus liabilities. You got to teach why this matters, because it does. And we've been conditioned. Like, you didn't just wake up like this. We've been conditioned to think in terms of exchanging our time and labor for wages. But we now understand that the true wealth comes from the ownerships, the investments, the enterprise, the businesses, So build up your family brand. And your last name can be your most valuable asset. And that a family business isn't just a hustle, it's a platform for legacy. So reflect on that, on what type of business aligns with your family values, and start building on that, right? Because you got to teach the next generation. We got to raise the children to understand that investing in economics and entrepreneurships is the key. It's not just getting a good job, because most of the good jobs that you get is not your business. You know what I'm saying? And some people get a good job, but they are not fulfilled. Like, you got a purpose in this world. So it got to go beyond just making money. Like, when you walking in your purpose, like, it's gonna come. So think about that. So as we come to an end, I want to give you something to think about, right? When you're turning the vision into action. So like, what's one, for today's takeaway, right? What's one step that you can take today that can help you start building your family's legacy, right? And set a date. for your first family financial meeting. When I told you, bring snacks, bring music, however your family get down. But set that date. Say, I'm gonna start today by doing this, and by this date, me and my family gonna have a sit down. We're gonna have a meeting about this, right? And just let them know. And that's how you start. That's it. So what I did is I put together just a few conversation starters, and I'm gonna link it in the description box just to help you get going, right? But that's it, right? Family planning is so important, and don't avoid it, because life after death, it's a natural stage, right? For everything that is created, it must transition on. So the better prepared you are, the better prepared your family is, the less chaos you create in your family after you go. Okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this information helps. For real, y'all. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you like, but just start the conversation with your family, right? Just all you gotta do, just whatever's in your brain, whatever you get as a takeaway, I challenge you to just go online and start there, right? And just keep going. Okay? So till the next time, have a wonderful, wonderful day.